Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be looking at the Grand Moff Tarkin Star Wars The Black Series action figure. This thing is awesome. I loved to see Tarkin finally show up, and we are also getting the interrogator droid in there with him as well. I love it when a figure comes with extra bonuses, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. We've got our picture of Peter Cushing as Grand Moff Tarkin right in the front, and boy, the face sculpt on that looks just so great. I can't wait to get this thing out of the box. Let's take a look at the back. This is number 63. And if you want to go ahead and read that bio on Grand Moff Tarkin, you may do so now. And we'll keep spinning it around. And let's get this guy out of the box. All right, so here he is out of the box and in all of his glory. I think this is a very, very cool figure, but I want to look at the droid here first. This interrogator droid kind of actually looks like a miniature Death Star when we look at it up close. He is on like a ball joint here. If we look at the bottom, you can see that this stand, which is actually a pretty nice little stand, is in there all the way. So I wouldn't advise trying to remove that. It looks like it's in there pretty good. And none of these little guns seem to really move, although they are a softer plastic, so they can be moved around a little bit, but they don't actually seem to do a whole lot of anything. So it looks like they're just a little bit flexible, so you can potentially put them like on somebody's head or somebody's hand or something like that, which is pretty nice. It gives you a little more flexibility with them. On to looking at the paint. This is pretty much black all the way around with a lot of chrome and a couple of reds, so you have a little bit of variation in here. Granted, it's, I'm not expecting a whole lot from this because it's primarily an accessory piece, but it does look pretty good. So we'll set it up there. I love accessory pieces, and especially droids too, because if you're trying to maybe put together an entire droid thing, there's a lot of astromech droids. You've got your C-3PO, you've got your IG-88, you've got a lot of different droids you can have. So the more droids you get, the more you can do with them. So I like that. As for Tarkin, let's take a look at him. Actually, he looks great. So let's look at him up close. Very good likeness. He also played Doctor Who in not an actual Doctor Who, but Doctor Who, kind of a very strange version of Doctor Who, which is very interesting. Now it looks like we got a little bit of paint discrepancy right next to the ear. It's not really that bad, and right here a little bit as well. It's totally forgivable. It's not that bad, but just for purposes of being clear. The eye there looks a little bit, right there it looks really good, but up it looks a little strange. It's like almost like a twinkle in his eye. But that face, man, that is exactly Peter Cushing's face. Very, very cool. He's got double code cylinders. He's got his Grand Moff rank. Oh man, he's great. With a little bit of rubbing right there on the fold of the jacket. Then I think that might have just been my copy. That doesn't look like that's part of a printing process. That might have just been the way he was packaged in there. He rubbed a little bit, which is fine. Looking around, we've got our belt with our little belt detail. Pretty standard looking. Nice little kind of softer chrome. We've got the olive drab kind of green over here, and we've got our shiny boots. Now, this is the funny thing about this, is that this must be the Rogue One version of Governor Tarkin, because... little known fact, well, maybe some of you Star Wars fans probably know this, but if you didn't already know, he didn't wear these boots because they did not fit him. Apparently, Peter Cushing had very large feet and had to wear little slippers while filming. So if you'll notice in Star Wars 4 A New Hope, you don't really see him from the waist down. You pretty much see him like this, because if you could, you would notice he had slippers on. I've heard people say bunny slippers. I don't think they were actually bunny slippers. I think they were just fuzzy slippers. So, yeah. So, however, in Rogue One, they could totally have boots that fit. But yeah, you go watch episode 4 again and look for his feet. You won't see them. So let's go ahead and take a look at his articulation. So we'll start with the head. The head is going to swivel side to side. It's going to rotate a little bit, kind of give you that kind of confused look a little bit that way as well. It does not move up hardly at all unless you want to take it, risk breaking it off the hinge there. So he pretty much just looks straight ahead, but he does have a pretty good amount of downward look, which is actually pretty appropriate for him. You fool. Yeah, well, that's not even a Tarkin voice. You should not have doubted me, Governor. Now I will take control of this station, and you will be sent to the spice mines of Kessel. Yes, or something like that. Very good. Very good. Director, you will look down. Yes. You will be scrubbing these floors for the rest of your days. Is that clear? Yeah, that's something like that. All right. Now let's go to our neck. And I noticed a little bit of paint's also on the collar there. We got a little bit of that green on the neck. Not too much, but just a little bit. Okay. For articulation on the shoulders are going to go up into the uniform there very, very well. They do not rub. They're not bumping together. They go in. So actually, they can actually go up really high. He can almost do like the YMCA. So that's really cool. So the shoulders go up really far. They move all the way around. So they have a lot of mobility on the shoulders. Very nice. Both of them. Real good shoulders on these guys. As far as the elbow, we've got about 90 degrees, which is not bad. Kind of missed the days where we had double jointed elbows, but it seems like those are long behind us. Every once in a while, we'll still get a double jointed elbow, usually when it's like a reissue of an old sculpt. But at least if we're going to have single jointed, it's nice if they go at least 90 degrees. It's nicer if they can go in a little bit more than that, but I'll take 90. What really bugs me is the ones that only go like about that far, and it's nice to see these go all the way in. For our hands, we are going to get wrist swivel and as well as a joint at the wrist so they can go in and forward. So they go about that far and that far. Not too far on that one. It's hitting the sleeve a little bit. Not too bad. For the waist, we're getting a full range of motion there. We don't really get a whole lot. We get very little forward and back. Not very much. So he's kind of rigid as far as looking up and down. At the hips, we do have a rotation right there in the upper leg. We can bring the legs out this far, and they can go back pretty far, and they can go forward pretty far too. So we can go about that far back and that far forward. We can rotate them at the upper leg. On the knees, we have double jointed knees, and they can go in pretty good. So pretty good knees. There we go. And for our ankles, we've got forward and back, and of course ankle pivot. And here he is with some other accessories, just kind of telling director Krennic to get lost and go handle business. He just looks really foreboding, and especially in a scene like this, if you set up some stormtroopers and other folks in the background, especially when you compare him to Krennic, who is probably one of the worst designed Imperial officers, at least with that head sculpt and the facial expression. It just makes you kind of want to root for Tarkin a little bit more in a scene like this. And here he is giving that interrogation to Princess Leia, as she did not recognize his foul stench when she was brought on board. Charming to the last, clearly. So, yeah, no, he's a great figure, and there's a lot of poses that you can do with him. Having the accessory, I think, is a very, very cool additional bonus, and very much like this figure a lot. There are a couple of Imperial officers available now, but he's by far at the top of my list. Well, right next to Thrawn, of course. So very, very happy to have this figure in my collection. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and enter to win that lightsaber giveaway that I have going on right now. All you have to do to enter to win that is be a subscriber and leave a comment. It's very, very simple, and that'll be running all throughout February. You can also you find out more details for that on Crabbok.com. I want to give a big thanks to all my patrons on Patreon, as well as just encourage you to hop over onto my Discord if you want to hop on there and give us a chat. We're always doing more gaming and Star Wars discussion. So I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.